All right, hello. I just went live. Let's see if some people come in. Not a lot to share. Let's see if that thumbnail changes there, I hope. Okay, so nobody's going to watch for a while, and I'm a new channel, and I expect that. But my name is the Basic Average Twit. You can call me Casey as well. It's on my channel. And I just want to talk a little bit more about YouTube's ad AI that's going to start flagging content and what that means for your channel. They're going to start using a third-party system that also flags content and tries to demonetize channels that are only putting out racist or highly offensive content towards users. Now, the controversy really starts with, well, what if I just don't agree with you? What if I have a totally different political opinion? And or what if I'm talking about something relevant that uses something controversial, and it's not to actually hurt or demean any specific group, but it's to just have a blunt conversation about it because of other people mentioning it or whatnot. Say like in the context of the one thing H3H3's been talking about for a little bit here is this song called Alabama N-Word. Well, what if somebody triggers N-word, and now just talking about that Alabama N-word in context of the fact that that clip was apparently making money with Coke ads playing on it, if that was now taken out merely because I said that, and the AI, which is not smart enough to understand context in which it's said, that actually hurts a lot of people that might try to put out news or just talk about stuff in general. And I see that as a big problem going in the future depending on what they're going to do. Now, it's absolutely impossible for YouTube to sit there and have all this staff sit there and look at just the billions of hours of footage that gets uploaded. And content's going to slip through anyways. And I really think the advertisers here overreacted to the small amount of content that is actually being monetized. When I do look, it's always like these small little tiny channels somewhere that somehow were monetized for not even that long. And I have my own personal story, which I went into in an earlier live feed, about how I was merely talking about Milo Yiannopoulos, his own personal molestation. I could not put that keyword in, but it was at the center of the controversy that his molestation when he was underage is the news story. And me putting it in there, if somebody was trying to look for that news story, that made that video demonetized. And so then I thought, well, that's really odd that some of these words can be in the titles and in the keywords and whatnot and somehow make money whatsoever. In the case with this, if maybe some of you guys have seen, if not, you should check it out, the H3H3 response to the Wall Street Journal. You have Ethan and Ela fame of H3H3 talking about he thinks maybe some of this stuff is fake because he knows full well that he's had videos demonetized in the past by just simply saying a specific word. And here we have in the title, N-word, clear as day. And somehow, what ended up happening in this situation is somebody claimed it. That's a real song. That song, Alabama N-word, is a song, and a group claimed partially that, and I think there's you can work with partners and whatnot, and it's partially a partner and also claiming the fact that it's an actual song. And so Coca-Cola was in essence paying them. Now, there wasn't a lot of money. Maybe $12 was made from what we can tell so far on the video, and who else knows what else would come up. But the Wall Street Journal, I guess, isn't entirely wrong about that particular video getting money or any sort of income coming in. But on the other hand, let's just take a look at what this new Bloomberg article is talking about with this AI that's going to look at ad revenue and how they're going to flag content in the future. And I'll quickly switch it over here. You're going to get, let's actually move some stuff so you don't have to look at me twice. We should go back to my main screen here. And here we go. Business Chief Schindler says Google has flagged 5 times as many videos as too offensive for ads in recent weeks. And you go in here and it talks a little bit about the companies yanking ads from YouTube. And by the way, this piece is written by Mark Bergen. And he should get credit. It's on Bloomberg if you want to read that. And they're talking about how they're going to automatically classifying entire videos and flagging and filtering content is more difficult, but they're working here with some other groups now to help them out. And I'm not going to sit here and read everything. You should go and read this yourself. But there's actually, and so the problem here is about this. Really is that's great, because I think on one hand you have the small group of people that ruin it for people like me. I'm a small channel and I can't get any bigger if I can't make any ads. There's just no point. I can't sit there and go through the year growing pain of trying to grow a business and then use things and cut things with Adobe Premiere and sort of all that sort of stuff when I make professional content, not just streaming live. And I can't pay for this stuff making no money just on my own with my job and hope at some point it adds up. Before, some people would start off and they would instantly start making $50 to $100 a month if they were producing decent content that would get at least some eyeballs. Now you can't even do that. A small channel like me, I can't even pull in anything. I can't pull in anything. Now I just started and I had pulled in almost a whole dollar. Well, now since this whole debacle, I have pulled in 0 cents, although I've already increased something like 200 views. Most people would say, well, on average, you should have at least another 20 cents. I have 0. There's not enough ads to go around. And so it doesn't, right now, I'm so small right now, I'm just trying to grow something. But in the aggregate over time, if I start to grow and get to, say, 10,000, that's still not a lot of money. If I'm barely getting fed ads, at least how some people have put it to me is that the super, super small channels, if they have less than like 50,000 subscribers and less than maybe like 1,000 views, you won't even be shown too many ads because there's not enough to go around. And you have big channels. Some of the biggest channels are saying that, hey, their content is already like 1/3 of what they were making. That is where you're all of a sudden throwing your hands up in the air going, I got to go get a real job now, because these aren't the people making $500,000, and it's 1/3 of that where they'd still be able to live pretty comfortably unless they're employing others. But if you're making, say, $4,000 and now you're making 1/3 of that, well, holy crap. I mean, now you're scraping by, and that's not too much of a living. But I guess to get into some other stuff here, the H3H3 thing was very interesting. Unfortunately, Ethan was wrong about some of the information. Not that he was wrong, like he was just making stuff up. He wasn't. He, as a journalist, which he isn't really a journalist, so let's give him some space. But as a journalist knows, you always have to make sure you're asking the right questions. And he apparently didn't ask if this video was claimed. And so because of that, the video was actually claimed and it was making money. And his rush to a conclusion that maybe the ad was fake because it was demonetized for the time that this person was taking pictures of it, the writer of the article from the Wall Street Journal. And so that kind of hurts him just a little bit, though. Philip DeFranco mentioned it slightly, and I think in Ethan's defense, he's not a journalist, and yeah, should we be better? But I don't expect, here's what Ethan did. He apologized, and I feel like that should make up for that. He did it all within a couple hours of saying, hey, let's hold on, takes his video down, making the accusation against the Wall Street Journal, and then he comes out with a video and apologizes and says some other things. The other things that he mentions in his video was about the fact that he still thinks that the money that was made was low. It was something like 120,000 views while it was claimed, and they only made $12, which is very, very low. And Philip DeFranco actually said something along the lines of, well, it depends on which country, which is true. If you're watching from other countries, advertisers will limit paying for those ads because it doesn't make a lot of sense, or even showing the ads, because that market does nothing for them. They won't sell a Chevy car in maybe China or something like that, so there's no point if somebody is from China to watch that ad, so they won't either see it or they don't really give a lot if somebody does see it in that country. But other than that, I guess it's an interesting topic where people are going to go from here. New creators like myself, what are we going to make? Probably not a lot of money for a long time. And I'm going to have to step up my game and make sure that I make things a little more funny, and I do some live streams, and I just try to talk to you. And like I said, my channel is about me just being your average doofus, just this average room. I'm actually, unlike Philip DeFranco, who's got employees, and he's really big. I'm just a regular guy, and I want to get into stuff. I want to talk more about politics. I don't want to be a journalist, and I want to be more like a Bill Maher panel. But me just spouting off certain stuff. I want to, be a little read up on some subjects, but just enough that we can see where the conversation goes. I don't want it to be a fight channel. I want to see people kind of talking about stuff and bumping heads and saying things that are politically incorrect, which was the point of Bill Maher's original channel, which is what I really liked about it. They would talk to celebrities who weren't necessarily political, and then you would have politicians themselves, and you get a lot of discussion. In short form, it was, I think, the original show was only half hour, and it was like very quick. Now we're showing HBO's roughly an hour, and but they have a lot of set pieces for humor. I like humor, but I like people to be discussing things humorously. And other than that, I figure I'll sign off here, and you just keep taking a look at my content. I'm gonna try to produce something here soon on some of the stuff about YouTube and ads, see if I can produce something funny and humorous and still topical. And other than that, you guys take care.